The Three Little Ghosts by Fayar Kiley. Copyright October 1st, 2009. Dedicated to Evelyn Klink, Betty Allen, Raymond Llewellyn, and Ruth Wilcox. This book was playfully written and illustrated because I miss you. With love, Faye, XXXOOO. Once upon a time, there were three little ghosts, Huff, Puff, and Howl. They were students at a haunting academy. Professor Yao was their haunting instructor. He was the scariest ghost of all time. He came to teach his secrets at the most prestigious haunting academy in the world, R.I.P. Ha Ha. Translated, it means rest in peace, not. I heard he made Spider-Man hide under the covers, Huff whispered. I heard that too, Puff admitted. I heard that Batman wouldn't come out of his cave if Professor Yao was haunting his town, Hal added. The three little ghosts had yet to scare a fly. Now they sat at the foot of a master. They were three little ghosts in basic training. Professor Yao cleared his throat and passed out a course outline. Look at this, Huff said to Puff. Our first class is how to scare leaves off of a tree. I thought leaves just fall off all by themselves, Hal commented, loud enough for the professor to hear. Professor Yao used that comment to begin the class. It is a common belief that the weather makes leaves fall from the trees in autumn. But today, I will reveal my first secret. Huff, Puff, and Howl looked at each other and shrugged. Ghosts use trees for haunting practice, the professor continued. The ghosts huff, they puff, and they howl. When they get it just right, all the leaves on the tree fall. Huff rolled his eyes. Puff shook his head. Hal didn't believe him at all. He blurted out, No way. The professor began to explain the fine art of haunting. Still, the three little ghosts did not believe him. After school, they went to their favorite tree to experiment. Huff booed, boo! Puff hooed, hoo! And Hal yelled, Ow! But nothing happened. Not a single leaf fell off that tree. I could have told you in class that he was a nutty professor, Hal said. We can't pass this class until we can do it, Puff said. Fat chance, Huff added. We're doomed, they all said. It was time for supper. The three little ghosts waved goodbye. At home, they told their parents about Professor Yao. He says that ghosts use trees for haunting practice, and that's how leaves fall. None of us believe him. It's true, son, at least for this story. You must learn how to do it well. You are a ghost. That is your job. All three little ghosts were back in class the next day. It doesn't work, Professor, Huff complained. Not a single leaf fell, Puff complained. We feel doomed, Hal complained. Let's go outside, the professor said, while he was pointing to the door. I want to see and hear what you did with the information that I gave to you yesterday. The three little ghosts and Professor Yao flew to the branches of a cherry tree on the campus of R.I.P. Ha Ha. Huff booed, boo! Puff hooed, hoo! And Hal yelled, Ow! Again, nothing happened. See, it doesn't work, the three little ghosts complained once more. Well, the professor started, there are elements of haunting that need to be learned and fine-tuned. He demonstrated. Here is a high-pitched boo. Boo! Here is a low-pitched boo. Boo! As he booed, 3 leaves fell. Whoa, look at that! Hal responded with sincere surprise. The 3 little ghosts became believers. After school, Huff, Puff, and Hal returned to their favorite tree. Huff booed, boo! Puff hooed, hoo! And Hal yelled, ow! This time, they remembered to try a lower pitch. Boo! Hoo! Ow! Look, Puff, the leaves turned from green to yellow. Mine turned orange, Huff said. Mine are red. Hal beamed. They decided it was a good start. They went home for supper with a little more faith in Professor Yao. The 3 little ghosts could hardly wait to tell the professor about their progress. The next day, the 3 little ghosts had no complaints. They came to school with real curiosity. Now the professor had a little more faith in them, too. Huff, Puff, and Hal started talking all at once. One at a time, the professor insisted. Huff, you go first. None of the leaves fell off the tree, but something did happen, Huff said. What happened, Hal? You tell me the next part of the story. Well, Huff's leaves turned yellow, Puff's leaves turned orange, and mine turned red. What did you do differently this time? The professor asked while he was looking at Puff. We made our voices a little lower. What else do we have to change? Puff asked. The professor barely whispered the following. Let's go outside to the cherry tree again. I will demonstrate another element of haunting. What, they said? He repeated himself louder. Let's go outside to the cherry tree again. I will demonstrate another element of haunting. Professor Yao began. Volume control is another important element in haunting. Again he demonstrated. This is a soft boo. Boo! This is a loud boo. Boo! He almost knocked down the 3 little ghosts. This is a soft hoo. Hoo! This is a loud hoo. Hoo! This time, a few birds flew away from the tree. This is a soft yow. Oh! This is a loud yow. Oh! And as he yowled, half of the leaves on the tree fell. Wow! 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 The 3 little ghosts said one after the other. They spent their time after school in their favorite tree. They booed, boo! They hooed, hoo! They yelled, oh! Again, the leaves turned to pretty shades of yellow, orange, and red. They tried again, a little bit louder. Boo! Hoo! Ow! The leaves began to shake, and shake, and shake. None of the leaves fell, but all the leaves were shaking when the 3 little ghosts were ready to leave. We'll be back. We were meant to haunt you. Be afraid. Be very afraid. They laughed as they went home for supper. The 3 little ghosts were running to class on the next day. They nearly knocked down Professor Yao. Hal was the first little ghost to catch his breath. He gave the professor the haunting update. The leaves are shivering in their branches. They really are. None of the leaves fell, but they are shaking. The trees are worried. We told them we'd be back, Hal explained. What comes next? Huff panted. What's the next element of haunting? Puff asked while gasping for air. For a while, Professor Yao talked to the 3 ghosts in the classroom. Attitude is the next element. Sometimes you must convince the tree that it is being haunted. What if I said to you, get out of here, in a sweet, delicate voice? Get out of here. It wouldn't make you leap to an exit. All 3 little ghosts laughed. But if I use body language, puff out my chest, stand tall and bold, it will match my attitude. Mix that with the right pitch and volume, then it will be the perfect combination. The tree will know for sure that I mean business. It will know that I am there to haunt it. Can we go outside to the cherry tree? Huff asked. Can you demonstrate the best haunting ever? Puff urged. Show us, please, Yow begged. What is the biggest tree on campus? Professor Yow asked them. It's the big oak tree next to Screech Hall, Huff said. We will go to that tree today, the professor agreed. Away they flew. The three little ghosts watched the professor prepare. He stood very tall. He filled his lungs with air, puffed up his chest, and began his haunt. He booed, boo. He hooed, hoo. He yelled, oh. When he had finished, every last leaf had fallen to the ground. The three little ghosts were very impressed. Huff poked Puff with his elbow. Check it out. The owl that lives in the tree is hanging upside down. Awesome, Hal raved. The three little ghosts clapped for the professor. He thanked them and took a bow. We want to do that, the three little ghosts exclaimed. You are ready, the professor told them. The only haunting elements that you need now are practice and experience. Your final test will be on Halloween night. The three little ghosts practiced and practiced all through the month of October. They scared the leaves into changing colors. The leaves shivered and shook. Finally, the three little ghosts were able to make the leaves fall. First they fell in pairs, then in dozens, then in hundreds at a time. Tourists passed in busloads to see the beauty of the changing season. Little did they know that it was done by little ghosts practicing the haunting of trees. Halloween night, they met the professor after dark. It was the night of their final exam. Huff booed, boo. All of the leaves fell from a red maple. Puff hooed, hoo, and all the leaves fell from the nearby birch tree. Hal yowled, ah-ooh, and every leaf fell from a crabapple tree and the tree next to it. Professor Yow was very pleased. Each of the three little ghosts received an official tree-haunting license from R.I.P. Ha-ha. They celebrated with a costume Halloween party. They showed off their outfits and sat comfortably on the bare branches of the trees. Professor Yow toasted them and said, "Hip hip hooray to the three little ghosts and happy Halloween." The three little ghosts said, "Three cheers for Professor Yow. Hip hip hooray, hip hip hooray, hip hip hooray. Happy Halloween to you and yours. Happy Halloween." The end. Ooh, the three little ghosts.